Almost 20 years later, Jennifer Aniston is finally telling her own story, her way.
Hi, I'm Jen Aniston, and I'm gonna watch some scenes from throughout my career. Oh, please don't suck.
Back in 2005, it was the shock heard round the world. The fairy tale romance that Hollywood adored, shattered in front of millions. Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston, the golden couple who seemed untouchable, were suddenly over.
It was the shock heard round the world, the breakup of Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston. How could it have happened to Hollywood's golden couple, and what did Angelina Jolie have to do with it? Now, for the first time, Jennifer Aniston is speaking out in a very candid interview in the September issue of Vanity Fair magazine. Contributing editor Leslie Bennett conducted the interview. Leslie, good morning. Nice to see you again.
Good morning.
The tabloids swirled with whispers. Was Angelina Jolie to blame? Was Jennifer unwilling to start a family? Now, for the first time since the split, Jennifer Aniston is breaking her silence in a candid, unguarded interview that reveals heartbreak, betrayal, and resilience. In the September issue of Vanity Fair, contributing editor Leslie Bennett sat down with Jennifer, and the result was raw, emotional, and at times, heartbreaking. For months, Jennifer had remained silent. She endured relentless tabloid attacks and even subtle wounds from the way Brad had conducted himself after their separation. Bennett says, Jen finally decided it was time. Time to speak. Time to set the record straight.
First of all, why do you think she's speaking now?
I think Jennifer has conducted herself with enormous restraint in the last few months, despite constant provocations from the tabloids and to a certain extent from the way that her husband has conducted himself. And I think finally it may have been time for her to say what she really feels and set the record straight on a few things.
Despite the sadness that still lingered, 6 months after the end of a 7-year relationship, Jennifer was hopeful. Her career was thriving, with 4 new films on the way and another in production. But behind the scenes, there were painful truths she could no longer ignore. One of the cruelest accusations? That she didn't want children. Jennifer calls it not only false, but deeply sexist. I want to have children. I've always wanted to have children, she told Bennett. The plan had always been to start a family when Friends ended. She was meant to be pregnant that year. And yet, somehow, it was her, not Brad, accused of putting career over family.
And she addressed some of the rumors, I mean, gosh, in the mountains of ink that had been devoted to this story. And one of them was that, that somehow her not wanting to have children contributed to the dissolution of this marriage. And she says that's absolutely not true. In fact, she intended to be pregnant this year.
I think that was really the cruelest thing that was written about her, and she feels it's just so sexist and misogynist because she said to me, I want to have children. I've always wanted to have children. I planned to have children. The plan was always that when Friends ended, she and Brad would start a family. And she said, no man who is divorcing ever gets accused of putting his career ahead of his family. But they said that about her based on absolutely no truth.
What did she have to say about Angelina Jolie and her role in what happened?
When it came to Angelina Jolie, Jennifer chose grace. She had only met Angelina once, at the start of filming Mr. and Mrs. Smith. She approached her with a smile, saying, Brad is so excited about working with you. I hope you have a really good time together. That was it. One meeting. But months later, the whispers became headlines.
At the same time, I understand she cried for a period of time during the course of the interview when you talked to her about the possibility of Angelina Jolie being pregnant with Brad Pitt's baby, and her eyes welled up with tears, and she got very, very emotional at that point.
I think she's tried really hard to avoid the tabloid gossip media because so much of it is false.
And it's pretty next to impossible, isn't it?
It's hard, and some of it leaks through. And there were a couple of shocks. I think it was a tremendous shock to her when the pictures of Brad and Angelina frolicking on the beach in Africa came out. Because
Jennifer's voice broke when she spoke of the moment she saw the now infamous beach photos. Brad and Angelina playing in the surf with a child, like an instant family. Meanwhile, Jennifer was supposed to be starting her own family with Brad. Then came the W magazine spread, a fantasy photo series of Brad and Angelina as a 1960s married couple. Jennifer's response was sharp. Clearly, there's a sensitivity chip that's missing. According to Courtney Cox, Brad may not have started a physical affair, but He had formed a connection with Angelina, an emotional infidelity that Jennifer felt deeply. From the moment Brad started filming Mr. and Mrs. Smith, he was gone, she admitted. When Friends ended, she needed him most. And he wasn't there.
So does she believe that they were physically involved before?
I think it's ironic and good timing that you're doing something on emotional cheating, because at the very least there was clearly emotional infidelity. Jennifer said to me, you know, from the moment Brad started filming Mr. and Mrs. Smith, he was gone. He was just not there for her. Friends ended. She needed a lot of emotional support. It was the end of a 10-year family, you know, and job and community for her.
And he didn't come for the last taping.
He didn't even come for the last taping. He was just gone. And, you know, it was like, I'm working. So, you know, whether or not there was physical cheating, he was emotionally absent in her view. As far as whether there was, you know, a sexual relationship or not, she said to me, in the end, I don't know, I'll never know, but I choose to believe my husband.
Looking back, signs of trouble were there. Brad once said, "I don't go for this, till death do us part stuff. If it stops being good, I don't see any reason to stay." Jennifer believed the opposite, that marriage was a commitment for better or worse.
But if you read back over what Brad said to me a year ago, you really find clues to the whole thing, because what he said to me a year ago was, I asked him obviously about marriage, and he said, you know, I don't go for this, you know, till death do us part stuff, and you know, as long as it's good, as long as it's growing, you know, then you go on, but if it stops being good, you know, I don't see any reason, to stay in it, basically, was what he was saying. And Jennifer's view of what marriage, you know, consists of was very different. It was that this is a commitment, and you're in it for better or for worse. And those are two very different ways of looking at marriage, and that was a big part of why they're not together now.
That difference, perhaps, was the beginning of the end. It was one of Hollywood's most public breakups, a storm of love, loss, and endless speculation. Her breakup with Brad Pitt was the biggest celebrity story in the world. Paparazzi followed her everywhere. Magazines couldn't stop printing headlines about her. Back then, people didn't comment online. They read it on magazine covers. The world judged her based on photos and rumors. Today, things are different. People are cheering her on, showing support in real time on social media. In 2005, Jennifer spoke carefully. She was hurting but still strong. In 2025, she speaks with calm confidence. She's been through the pain and has come out stronger. Her journey is about more than heartbreak. It's about growth, strength, and taking back control of her story. Will she write a book? Will we get a documentary? We don't know yet, but we do know it will be told in her own words. In this ever-spinning world of entertainment, today's headline could be tomorrow's forgotten gist, but one thing is certain: our stars never stop giving us something to talk about. The drama always finds its way back into the spotlight. And just like that, this chapter is written, at least for now. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the glitz, drama, and behind the scenes of celebrity life, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. That way, you won't miss a single gist and scandal or inspiring comeback from your favorite stars. The next big story is already on its way, and you'll want to be here when it drops.